So we are Vending today for a fireside chat. I'm here with my host, Darren, knows over 1,000 vending machines. And we have three special guests. You guys can start introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Joe. I'm VP of North America for Haha.
My name is Yang. I am the CTO and one of the co-founders of Micromart.
My name is Josh, and I'm the chief of staff of Vending.
It's amazing. I just want to get into like the background. How did you guys start? And take it away.
So I started, unlike those guys that not really starting with Haha because Haha stories, we started this 2017 in China, and the couple founders, when they were in college, they cooked up in the lab with the visual recognition system. And then we first introduced to the States normally like roughly around 2023. And I joined the team 2024, about August. It's been with the team almost 2 years. They found me out of nowhere, to be honest. So everybody calls me, especially from Nama last year. After Nama last year, calls me the face of Haha. But yeah, so that's pretty much a story. Being with Haha, I see the Haha's up and downs and been through a lot with Haha, and pretty much build up the entire North America markets all from scratch.
Yeah, I mean it's been a journey. So we started actually as an operator in Toronto, right during COVID. Actually, we were trying to sell food in hospitals, and we looked for different machines. None of them worked really well. We ended up going with a vision cooler because that's the thing that people will actually buy food out of. Whereas traditional vending, people kind of don't trust the food. So we grew that actually to about 70 units in Toronto. And we hit a ceiling. It's like, we got to invest in a lot of operations, logistics, and we didn't want to build that company, but we actually built quite a bit of tech, building up our own operation. And we said, hey, can we actually turn this into a business? We were quite naive at that time as well. A lot of things that we didn't know. This was like 2024. We decided, okay, we're actually going to pivot the company into Micromart. And that's when Micromart was born. And I actually had the pleasure of meeting Donald at Nama, I think it was the first one, 2024. And yeah, the rest is history.
I have a very similar story to Yang, and we started about 2 or 3 years ago, and we saw this new technology coming out, and we wanted to develop it ourselves. But we were so afraid of it almost not working. And no one's heard of AI coolers before, other than if you've been overseas. So what we did is we operated about 150 of these in Dallas ourselves before we sold a single one. And now we're a much different company, a much bigger company, and we don't run operations anymore. So at some point in the early days, we were running out, gathering locations, servicing the machines, and we transitioned into a more universal AI company.
So just to start off, like, what do you think are like some like the largest, like the weaknesses that you've had in of your AI coolers? Just to like start it off, because I know you guys each have different types of coolers. What do you think is like some of the weaknesses that you guys see like with the coolers, like how Micromart and Vending? What are some of the weaknesses that you guys see?
Weakness of the Haha cooler. And I think there's nothing. No, I mean, there's definitely, because we as Haha as a company that we have about 400,000 units in China mainland, and we're all over the world. So I think if we're talking about weakness, I think it just, we compare to other indoor cooler, like -40, dual North, True, our cooler is more cost effective was. I wouldn't say cheaper, it's just more cost effective. That could be advantages, it could be disadvantages, because it's not as a $4,000 or $5,000 cooler is not that much more presentable than a $6,000-$7 cooler. I think that's the thing for Haha cooler, because we aim to market differently. So we want to just attack the more cost-effective wise of the group of people. So I think it is a weakness.
Yeah, it's an interesting weakness compared to, I think,
Of course.
yeah, like we're always learning. Like as a startup, we literally started only a year ago, a year and a half ago. We started shipping, and now we have over 1,500 units in North America. In that time, we learned a lot. So I think part of that journey is constantly evolving as a business, but also listening to all the customers now we have, and actually constantly improving ourselves, because we know we're not perfect. The industry itself is evolving as well, with more players coming from overseas, domestic companies as well. So it's an exciting time to be in the space, especially when vending is kind of changing as a whole. I think companies like us need to learn from the vending folks, the operators that have done this and scaled. There's a lot of lessons there that, we probably should spend more time hearing from that and learning. So I think it's going to be on like, how do you scale this operation to be a massive business? I think nobody here has, especially in North America, built a 1,000 machine AI cooler business yet in North America, right? Like everyone is trying to learn and everyone's trying to adopt. And the opportunity for this is huge because together we can make a lot more money than traditional vending. And that's the opportunity that I think we're all going after.
Say in this industry, it's very interesting because on the outside, it really depends what you call a weakness and what you think a weakness is. It's all very subjective for each person. And we can start by the hardware. As a person who's first getting into the AI cooler industry, you see all three of our companies, they're going to look almost similar. I can tell you, all three of us here think that our product is very, very different on our software and how it truly works inside. So for not only Vendera's weakness, but I feel all of ours, is maximizing our software and our capabilities to enable you guys to do the best. It's no longer about hardware because you can't change too much about it. It's all, no matter what, a refrigerator is going to look like a refrigerator, right? It's all about our software.
I think I would add something to the weakness. I think the weakness for me, for Haha as a company, it's not really about the cooler itself, the product itself. I think for us, the biggest competitive disadvantage for us is to learn about this, how to operate the business model in the United States. That's why there's the up and downs to find the right place to sell your product, to get to the right people. I think that's probably because I think it's more about the company strategy instead of the model itself.
Can I ask a question about the actual transaction that's being done through the cameras? What percentage of every sale is actually monitored by the AI itself as opposed to a human? I know there are some human elements to maybe a transaction that doesn't go well. I think that's the case. So the reason why I'm asking that is for scale. How easy is it going to be? Are we going to feel the effects of volume across the country through many operators? And so talk about a little bit about the actual transaction that the customer never sees what happens. He just knows he's charged on his card, but what actually is happening in the background.
All of our coolers, we use vision. And in order for AI to understand what it's looking for, it needs to learn. And how we have it learn is to create 3D models of whatever you're putting in. So take this Celsius, for example. I can't just take a picture of this and have our AI learn off of one picture. I need to build a 3D structure, all sides, top and bottom, right? And with that, I can't speak for their AI. I know for mine, we run off of confidence levels and this term called abnormal transactions. So once our confidence levels reaches under a certain amount, it gets pushed an alert to the operator. It's about 1 in 200 transactions if the machine is set up correct. And the operator has to manually review. Typically, it's someone blocking the camera, but more so if they didn't put the item in the cooler correctly, right?
He's asking the question, so cool about it.
It's an interesting question because I think it comes down to like, how much is this going to cost the operator as they scale? And then and that's two parts. One part is like operating cost of manual review footages. That's going to take a lot of time. And
Sure.
the other part is what's the actual accuracy of the technology? And then is the customer experience going to be impacted? And then am I going to get a lot of tickets, from customers? So I think all of us shares a number. We call it like image recognition percentage, and ours is 5%. There is going to be a portion of the transactions that we just can't use technology to sort out because it's quite difficult. And we don't want to impact customers. But we actually take a pretty different approach. Rather than giving that to the operators to review, we also have human reviews to go in and actually take a look and see what's going on. So the operator is removed from that step and we just take care of it as well. So the cost is actually on us. Yeah.
For Haha, it's more like those two guys combined. So we do have, I don't really know the percentage wise, how many are directly just from an AI camera, but I would say I know when I joined the company, it was like 60 something percent. Right now, we bumped up to probably 80, 85%. And then we have abnormal transactions, just like you said, like people, you have to set up your machine correctly, right? 90% of the time, if you have a normal transaction, that means you don't have that stuff in your cooler as a template ready for sale, right? But you have people that cover smaller snacks, they cover by their hand, they pick it up so fast. So we do have the human eye transaction to oversee that, to make sure if there's machine didn't recognize, they will have humans recognize it. Sometimes the human wasn't able to recognize it because they covered the whole thing. They don't know the template. So we push back that to as an abnormal order for the operator to see it. So for us, we never let that opportunity slip away to lose the sale. So basically,
So does it help for the operator to set up the machine in a specific manner to try to avoid confusion?
yeah.
So if a can of Coke is red and a can of Coke Zero is red, and they're next to each other, maybe it's a good idea to put them on different shelves so that the AI could understand that. I would assume that would be
definitely
it
the
would help.
recommendation. Yeah, that would definitely help. And it's not necessarily you have to put like different like similar items away from each other, but that would definitely. I'll tell the truth. I think that I tell all my operators to make sure you follow the template to put in the correct item in the right template on the shelf. So when the worst time happen is someone covered the entire thing, you don't even know what it is. You can still figure it out. This is looks like the third shelf because we have the video that you can go back to the video to see exactly what the video footage looks like. So you're able to go back to see, okay, he put it out from the third shelf, and you can go back to your template, says third shelf, second is a sneaker.
So a question that we're getting from our customers, and there's a little confusion about this, and we do state quite a large sticker we put on the machine to try to explain it to our customers, is you swipe the card, and obviously the customer could take a lot of items out of the machine if they wanted to. If they're hungry, they have a few friends, they can take 4 or 5 items out. But what if it's a debit card with a limit on it, or a prepaid card, or a credit card with a limit on it? We change the limit of the swipe of authorization based on the type of account it is. Somewhere $5 for a pre-authorization, because obviously we want some traction, a little bit of sales. It's not as much of a concern of our customer seeing $5 authorization, but we have some accounts that have $20 authorization. That's, some people don't want that on their card, but it's a little bit riskier location. What do you guys think about the authorization and the confusion with the customers? What have you seen in your machines, and what's the right way to go about it and to make the customers feel at ease also at the same time? And I know some gift cards or sometimes they're not accepted. I think that's the case. I think I might have heard that from one of my customers. Well, what's the story with that?
For us, that I think it's like a learning curve, right? People, when we're starting in this business, I see so many after sale. For us, your end user is able to report any feedbacks, provide any feedbacks or something back to the operator. Operator can use the app to see it. So we see a lot of after sale, we call it service called feedbacks, right? Say, hey, I bought a water for $2 and you charge for 10, even though, just like you said, you have a very big, like, let them know it's going to take you $10 per observation. It's just a whole. For those customers, I see the learning curve because they didn't know, they never had this with traditional language. And then they started learning this. Right now, I have seen less and less of that. So I guess everybody is learning about the pre-observations. As far as the prepaid card, that we have capability of just to block type of, it's up to the operators. If the operators say, I don't want my machine to take any prepaid card, that we can block on the back end to eliminate that people trying to steal with the $5 authorization to open it, but they don't have any money after that. For the people like I pre-authorized $10, but it actually just had the $10 to open the door, but they take $50 off the stuff. I always say to track it, we can block that card or block the personnel. And because we have the camera, everybody has a camera that we need to see, and it needs to be reported to at the theft, that we can do that too. And we can block that card to be used again in any of your account.
That specific card.
Yes. And it will be all under, say, if you have like 10 machines, that card is not able to process any money from any of those 10.
Is there an option for any one of you? I'm sorry, Yang, you'll answer the question, but there's a part B of that. And so you could include it in your answers. Is there an option to not accept debit cards or prepaid cards?
Would you like to go first?
It did. That's part
The
B.
second part, right?
Part B.
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think before I answer this question, I think it's important for people to know that, the benefit of AI coolers, and smart stores in general is that people can go in and grab multiple things. And because of that, you make more money. And so that's the upside. The downside is you might get, cards that don't have enough balance, like these debit cards and so on. So there's a bit of risk. And like any business, the business owner needs to decide how much risk do I want to take in order to capture this opportunity. And I think that's our perspective on this, is that there's going to be a percentage of uncaptured transactions. And as long as we have, the maximum amount of people using the service and the maximum amount of multi-item grab basket size transactions, then it's worth it to take that risk. Otherwise, you would set the pre-authorized payment to $100, like gas stations. Right? It's like $200 the other day I pumped. It's like crazy. I never have a Honda, I have a simple car. But then that would detract a lot of people. Our philosophy is try to understand the maximum opportunity first, and then do some experiments to see how much money the operator can make at that low, pre-authorized payment. Like don't set it at 20 from day one, set it at $5 from day one. So, we take it as the average price of the item multiplied by 2 is how we set the pre-authorized payment. And then play with it and see how much actual uncaptured transactions you get and see if you're still profitable. And there's an inverse correlation between definitely the higher pre-auth, the lower people are going to actually tap their card. Okay, now coming back to your question.
Sure.
Yeah, like we can definitely set a pre-authorized payment per location. We can block out prepaid cards. We can block out specific bins. We can block out specific cards. And there's actually a lot more security behind the scenes that it's proprietary that we utilize to, forecast a credit so that we block out certain patterns, essentially. I can't go into too much detail. And all that is really important. But at the end of the day, the capture percentage for Micromart is like 99.8%, 99.7, 99.8%. So it's really high. For the 0.2, 0.3% of uncaptured transactions, we have this program called Revenue Protect. Revenue Protect is basically kind of like an insurance for the operator, because every week we pay operators a payout, and they're going to expect to get paid regardless of what uncaptured transactions and things like this. So we just literally pay them, even though we weren't able to capture a certain amount of money from a card that got through somehow. We just pay the operator anyway, so it would be part of the Revenue Protect program. But it's our job to make sure that we continue to improve this number, because it's going to impact other customers that you try to use the machine when there's some malicious actor that's got in somehow and like took everything out.
So it sounds like we shouldn't be obsessed with the one person here or there that had malintent. It sounds like we should focus on lowering that credit card authorization and capturing as much sales as we can.
I wouldn't think of that. For us, I think the smart cooler, I think I always tell because my way to do business is to tell the good and the bad to the customer. Because I never think of smart coolers for all the places, for all locations. No. Smart coolers just for locations that people, first of all, they're going to have a credit card, because we're all cashless, and you don't want to put that card, you don't want to put the machine somewhere in the middle of nowhere that people can just like steal. They can take the whole machine if they want, right? Because that machine is like 220 pounds. They can roll the entire machine out. So if the machine is in a secure location, like Yan said, like it would be very limited chances they actually not paying the bill. For us, it's probably the same thing. For instance, I have a customer that have almost like 100 machines. One of his company have 30 machines. His transaction is about, on the average daily, he has like 30 per machine. Like I think it's like almost 400 transactions per day. The money that we did at the test is like less than 0.1%. It's not getting paid. So compared to $20,000 you make every single month,
Sure,
that $5 is nothing. And just like Yan said, if you want us to pay that back because the customer, to protect that revenue, the $5, $10 or whatever, that we can do that too.
what do you think, Josh?
We're all going to say almost the exact same thing.
Okay,
Right. We take it really, really seriously, because it's not only through compliance reasons, but also security of the operator. Right. All of us, we can all block debit, prepaid card. We've done it before. We've tried it ourselves, and it's all through partnerships with our payment gateway company, because we're not payment companies ourselves. And that's why we have to go through that partnership to be able to do all of these things. To answer your question directly, no, we don't allow prepaid cards. It's your choice if you want debit. It's your choice if you want Amex, MasterCard, Visa. Right?
Choose.
You can choose. It's all in your application. And I believe we all do this thing, and we haven't talked about. It's called incremental pre-authorization. So if the pre-authorization is $1, someone takes $5 worth of stuff out, we will charge the person $5 now. If we can't get it, we'll charge 4, then we'll charge 3, and then 2 every day for the next 3 days until we get the full money back. During that time, the card is not allowed to be used on any one of our machines. If they don't pay again, the card is just blacklisted from all of our machines forever. So we take this extremely, extremely seriously.
What do you think? If we talk about it like a little bit, I know you said that you can't put an AI cooler like in any location. What do you think is like your custom? Like if you were to build like your character, build your archetype, like people that are who want to buy AI coolers, who do you think that person is in terms of like his mind?
The principal operators.
Application.
Yeah, the operator.
The operator.
So I believe I think Micromart's a little different because they're more in buildings. For me and Pod and Madera, where our customer is more from all different ends. Like everybody, they want to get to the first machine, you can get it. Not saying like you have to get a 10 machine to be qualified to buy a Micromart, but it's just from all different perspectives. I've seen from I start with Haha, it's about like 80% of the operators are the first one, second one within 10 machines. I'm seeing about 50% of them are established, like daring the operators that they have probably not have 1,000 machines, but they have like 200 machines, 500 machines, and they build on top of it. So for Haha and all for Smart Cooler, I think is for all kinds of people, different locations. But the some locations are gold mine. Traditional, like it's like hospital, gold mine for sure, manufacturer, factory. I think the most important part for this is AI smart coolers open the door for some locations that wasn't even thinking about putting the AI, a traditional vending machine, and they can put an AI cooler there just because it looks like a cooler and it's slick.
Yeah, I think our customer right now is a lot different than when we first started. Right now, we're really focused on like entrepreneur operators that are buying a cooler for the first time and they don't know anything about this industry and they want to get the most, the best looking machine so that they can get it into the best locations, capture as much foot traffic as possible. And then like we just kind of handle everything else on the tech side. So that's kind of our ideal customer profile. We haven't really gone down the bigger operator side of things, but I do see opportunities there as well. But right now our focus is on the smaller operators.
I believe we all started with smaller operators, anyone from 1 to 50 machines. This was almost all of our 2025 sales for all 3 of our companies. And we're seeing that transition now to where we're seeing guys like you who have hundreds of machines out there starting to adopt this new product. And it's not about, does it work better at a warehouse or in an apartment, right? It works anywhere that's not outside in the weather. And we're seeing this change, right? So the product hasn't changed itself, but we're seeing more of an adoption.
So thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to get let's have it like if you shout out to me, let's have anything. Do you think anything special? I mean, I think they announcements coming up.
Yeah, I think we're all going to be here at NAMA. I think we're all going to show some very exciting things as well. I think we're also all releasing some new products there. So please come, go, and see us at NAMA.
Yeah, I wish I know my booth number, but yeah, we're gonna have something new at NAMA too. Just stop at NAMA and call for this talk.
Well, let's say these guys already promoted NAMA, so I don't have to.
Well,
I'm happy that we are doing this. I think this is like pretty cool. We haven't seen too many of this type of collaboration before, and just getting some of the leaders in the space to come down and talk about this, I think is pretty awesome. Thanks to Charlie as well.
Let's tell everybody NAMA is in Los Angeles.
That's right. April 22nd.
April 22nd and 24th. For those of the viewers don't know what NAMA is, it's once a year the largest vending AI cooler shows. You guys, it's definitely worth going. I haven't missed it in 15 years.
Every year there's more and more AI stuff coming out.
Definitely. It's less vending machines than ever.
I see like 15 to 20 companies that are going to carry out their smart cooler adoption at NAMA. And I call NAMA Olympics of the vending.
Some questions I have about the AI coolers when it comes to new entrepreneurs. as opposed to existing operators who have done vending machines and are familiar in how to get many accounts in a quick pace. But regarding the new type of entrepreneur that are seeing all these kind of videos and different type of retailing ideas, what percentage of your poolers at all three of your companies are selling to those type of operators, the new types, or existing vending company using those type of poolers? JZ.
We'll start. Cool. So for my company, I see the transaction from, because for our haha vending, we're like less expensive than traditional vending machines and like some of, like regular more 365. It's more easy for the new entrepreneurs to invest in for a couple $1,000 even. Used to be 60-70% when we started this business about 2 years ago. So I've been 80% off of our all new and they're selling different stuff. They can sell like very traditional like vending stuff like food lifters and stuff. And I have customers that do injuries, they have Pokemon cards, they do about a different kind of stuff. But right now, because we're growing, as we have different machines, different models competing with bigger capacity, like the real operator, like bigger operators like you. So we started seeing transition from probably 80 to 20. Now it's more like 30 to 70, which you get 70% of the my customers are the real operators.
So it's shifting in your
yes, I think because there's always 20-80 rules. 80% of the money are even 80% of the money are even 20% of the major operators. So that's pretty much the number I think. I don't really have to remember the number, but it's kind of like 70 something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. What have you found?
I mean, this was actually quite surprising for us because when we first started, when we launched the business, November of 2024, we saw that most of the customer base was going to be from this and larger operators. It turns out that it's actually a lot of the smaller guys that was willing to take a risk into something new. And there's going to be a lot of changes around, everything basically. I think also learning for us. I think today you're about 70 to 80% of small entrepreneurs.
On the same thing?
Less than 5. Less than 5 minutes.
So in my thought process is 2 points. The first one is the overall US market, and you can split them into 3 categories for operators. You have the mom and pop, we say under 50 machines. You might have a warehouse that usually run out at their garage. Then you have a mid-sized one. You have your first warehouse. You might have a route runner. And then you have your larger. They have multiple routes, full warehouse, truck runners, everything like that. So everyone said in the beginning, only these small guys would take risks. It might be only for our 3 companies. I know for maybe Sandstar, those contract, they might be a little labor. They only sell to hotels. They don't really sell to us. For you guys. So we had to change our market strategy a lot, as in many people first got into vending by seeing TikTok videos, Instagram, kind of hesitant, but they don't know anything about it. So it was almost our job to give them material to land locations, how to use the machine, and we supplement instead of them learning their stuff. So to everyone's credit, I think we all have something similar now. Right? How to teach someone how to use a machine. But we're seeing this huge shift to where these guys are starting to get bigger. I know each one of us are talking to at least some operators of 500 plus machines, and their requirements are much, much bigger.
And that's what I wanted to ask next. I mean, the larger operators that are existing probably control 90% of the vending machines in America. Probably 1 in every 6 vending machines are being controlled by big management companies around the country that control certain aspects of the industry. For instance, Amazon distribution centers is controlled by one management company. I would say 1 in every 6 vending machines in America is controlled by a management company. So my question is, why is this slow adaptation of operators that are existing? We know you exist. Why is it slow? Why aren't they jumping on board as fast as the TikTok guy? That seems like it's cool. I kind of know the answer a little bit, but do you guys realize why it's being not as quick as it should be, as you thought it would be? Do you know what the reason is behind that? Have you thought about it? Is there a different strategy now to try to obtain those operators? Because obviously they'll buy a lot more coolers than the TikTok one by one. So, I mean, I know as an operator, it's very intriguing, these coolers. I really want it to work. I want to use them. I want to be able to excite my customers. But there's a few, and listen, we are set in our ways. Operators are set in our ways, but I'm always looking, maybe I'm more progressive than most. I'm always looking for something, but it needs to be able to allow us to make money. And I'll tell you a few points and then tell me what you think. One is the capacity. One is the vendability to the customer and how visually it looks. So if the machine is half empty, we still want it to look presentable to the customer. And then the fees are a lot higher than vending machines. And I think the fourth one is the amount of time it takes for the driver to service. The only thing we care about as operators is how much money can the driver bring back in that one given day and still happy to come in the next day. So I think there's a few challenges when I look at those coolers to be able to, for me to be able to shift completely from vending to those coolers. Those are the challenges that's I'm a little worrying about. And I know over time, the operators are going to speak on what they want. And hopefully there's going to be companies that are going to listen to really change the entire landscape of the vending industry, or we might call it something else eventually. We might not call it vending anymore. What do you guys think about what I'm saying? Does it cross your mind at all? Or
Yes.
have you heard this before?
Of course. And I have a multiple part process to your friend. It is not as simple as saying, you guys are stuck in your own ways. You guys don't want to change things like that. Just if I was in your shoes, I would always say this. When you start out as a larger company, I would say our AI coolers are never going to replace traditional machines completely. There's going to be market for AI coolers, so be market for traditional units. With the community and other monthly fees, transactional fees might be higher. So I feel like this product is serving a slightly different market. And what I mean by that is when you're talking about a Bev Max, you can only sell drinks. You're talking about combos, you can only sell snacks and drinks. Nothing is stopping anyone from selling my own tickets to the movies. I have a guy who sells beach towels.
Right.
So it's almost the same market. I believe the question we should be asking of how to make this feasible is how can we get our transactions to get higher to make it more. It's not about how can I replace all my vending machines, but yeah, I knew is what it costs more.
Gotcha. I look at it as there are many manufacturers of vending machines as they used to be. And I don't know how much R&D is going to be put into the new manufacturer of vending machines when they see we could build these coolers abroad for less expensive to replace, $11,000 Bev Max. So I think there's a lot of shifting, and you're right. It's a different type of vending. You could sell different products. You could get those tickets higher. It's a good possibility. It's gonna change a very good amount of the vending machines in America, and it has to be profitable for the operators to embrace it. So for the big operator, those 4 points that I mentioned are the most important. We're obsessed with those 4. If we have a location that requires 4 vending machines in one location, I'm thinking about can we fit 6? Because we don't want to visit it as often as we should. And we want to be able to, for the visit, to capture as much money in less amount of time with the drivers. So those 4 points, the way the industry is today, with the way the coolers are built today, I don't believe it could happen. I don't think it can replace vending. It might be able to replace a micro market where there's some shortage of product and some people are not being honest. Obviously, that's an easy fix. But how do we do it in mass scale? So those 4 points, and I know I speak to my colleagues, like, how am I going to put that? And I just had a 6-wide snack machine and a big Bev Max. You want me to put one AI cooler combo mixed with both products? We'll be out of business that way. Because the drivers can't visit 20 locations in a day. It seems like the coolers that are being offered are all 30-inch wide. There's a separate manufacturer for the coolers. You're adding in all your technology to an existing cooler company. Obviously, you can't build one yourself. Well, maybe that'll happen eventually. To me, that's what it sounds like to me. We can't use a regular standard 30-inch cooler forever for operators to be profitable with the fees, with the accessibility, the filling, with all the points I was mentioning. Go ahead. I'm sorry, yeah.
As an operator first,
That's right.
and then also as a technology. When we ran Kitchen Bay, we had so many locations, and most of them, we had only one cooler. So it wasn't like a bank of coolers, it was just one cooler, and it was profitable. We ended up selling business as well. So there's different strategies that you can do to stay profitable. Obviously, the driver economics is one of those core components to it. but it's also about sort of, so if you think about driver capacity in your sector, when we started in Toronto, it was like $50 a stop per stop. So basically, every stop you need to bring back at least $50 in profit to break even. So how much products should you stock at a minimum to actually profit $50? And that's kind of the bar for going to do a restock. We would never do a restock unless we would profit, like unless we had enough profit from that restock. So otherwise we just don't go there. But then you get into the other problem, like you mentioned, which is, well, it's going to look empty. If you don't go very long, your client's going to be upset. But I think those are all different problems, and you can kind of break them down and address each one. Like with looking empty, you saw the industry actually move towards black interior for a lot of the machines, because white interior with LED lights on all sides and just shining like I'm empty, and no one wants to see that. So the industry moved towards black interiors. So it's you're not drawn to it when there's nothing in there. Plus, it makes the products pop. The other thing, but that's just like, how you solve the empty problem. But the core problem is how do you stay profitable on it? What if you could definitely do it intelligently with software on the platform side, right? Just making sure that you're not sending the driver out for doing, a really small restyle. And even with the capacity of, I think most of our coolers, there's definitely enough ROI per drop if the machines are selling, right? Like $50 is not that much money. So that's like 50 chocolate bars, even if you're not making much money on it. But people are probably making more than that, right? So you're talking like 20 chocolate bars, maybe a few bags of chips. So, and how much chocolate bars and chips can a machine hold? Just one machine, like way more than that, right? So the problem isn't necessarily, I think the problem is actually how do you increase, it's what you were saying, how do you increase transaction size? How do you increase uh, basket size? How do you incentivize more transactions to happen? How do you incentivize home conversion? It's definitely profitable if you can achieve those things. And it applies specifically to smart stores, actually. Why smart stores over traditional vending? Traditional vending, usually one item at a time. Smart stores average is two, at least that's what we're seeing for ours. So there's definitely benefits to it. Yeah.
Yes, the continuous. I think the way that the four different, like the main focus for big operators, I think. First of all, why I think in general why the big operators it's kind of hard time or is not really dive all into smart core is because it's newer to the market. I think that's main. I think at least for me, I think it's newer to the market. I started with Haha almost 2 years ago. Cold calling people, they don't even know what it is. They don't trust the product, the child process. And now I'm seeing the transaction from not trusting. I'm cold calling nobody big on the phone, and now they're calling us consistently. Hey, tell me about this workboard. Tell me about the concept, right? It's more, that's right, more for mom and pop shops, become like the newbies in the industry. Another thing is, I think we all align that we're selling more SDs. We're able to sell different stuff. But I talked to some big operators, I think probably the ally with you, Darren, is it's still the drinks makes the most money for talking about how I talk about profit margin. I have a customer, I see the customer, the tickets from $2 to $5 to $8, but they're selling foods. Average ticket is a lot higher than with traditional vending machines, but still because they're throwing out some of the food too, so there's cost and there's a lot of different things going on. So they're really making the money by still the drinks and the snacks, the simple stuff. Our proven advantages of it just you can take 2, 3 drinks at a time. And normally you see, I think this complementary person, that's nowadays you're able to consider when I buy a drink, 80% of the time you buy a food, something like that, right? I think that's the most important thing for our viewer. That gives you the chance, give the customer a chance to do multiple then at a time. And about the capacity, I was gonna say, hey, spend more. Right? Like say you want to be like 6 traditional vending machines, you spend 10 of it, but it's the cost wise and everything. That's why we have our cooler is now like just buying from a company and then install our it was like that 2 years, 3 years ago. Right now we have our own factory, so we're producing our own coolers. We have a double door that can contain almost like 900 bottles of water. That's a huge capacity, and that's actually the most selling for the bigger operators. They can put 2 of those to kind of like replace 8 or 6 of the max or something like that. So capacity wise, and another thing is the drivers go out there to restock. I think it's easier for the AI cooler to have a restock process compared to traditional vending because you have to open down, you have to go up, you have to do the tray out, and put everything accordingly. For us, you just open the door like regularly. I had a customer operator do the test for me. I did it with them together too. I forgot the basic. I think it's a Fat Max. It's a combo machine for sure. Take them about like 20 to 25 minutes to put everything they really full restock, and it take us like about 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes to fully restock our standard size cooler. So I think that wasn't really the question that I would look at. But I think the more things, because I will have a relation we're on Chinese here. So we have like a old Chinese saying is the bigger the boat, the harder to turn around. So I think that's major probably another reason why. Because when you go try to find something else as a big operator, you're not just dealing with one machine, you're dealing with the entire colors, with the entire like new crew. You have to train, have to invest time, and when you've done it work, probably not working. So I think that's the thing.
I just found it's a little bit more time consuming. It's similar to a Max type of vending machine where, it's not, you have to somehow go behind the snacks or the food or the drinks because the tray doesn't come out. A snack dish is a lot easier. The first one out comes out, you fill from the back. I think we're relying on the driver to do more work than he wants to do.
That makes sense.
And I know there's another competitor of coolers that announced that they might be coming out with an AI cooler with trays. Have you heard about? I don't know if we should bring up another operator, another AI cooler company, but these type of innovations going forward to try to make it easier. I know it's a whole other thing, but I think those little things to make it easier, and obviously the fees where a vending machine we're paying $9-10 to connect plus the credit card fee. Now we're talking 4, 5, 6, 7 times the amount of fees, monthly fees. I think 365 is like up to $250 a month, from $75 to $250 a month based on volume. I mean, they're not our partner. So I think those little things would allow companies like myself to really jump in. And I speak with the Ben guys, people all the time. And we want to do it. We want to get more involved with these coolers because there's an excitement about it. The customers love it. It's just very difficult for us to really jump in. And we have maybe a dozen coolers now, AI coolers that you're using in specific instances. We'll add it to, a bank of 4 vending machines, and we'll add that to put food as opposed to a vending machine with food, which nobody likes. No one likes a vending machine with real food in it. So we're using that as a complementary machine. That's what we're doing with it because all those little factors I was talking about just doesn't make sense for us to buy 4 or 5 of them as opposed to that one. You're going to hear more and more about this from the large operators. I mean, if they're responsible operators and they have a profitable company and they understand the little details of the business and how to make money, you're going to hear that.
I think when we talk about fees, it's important to recognize our fees as well.
Sure.
This is probably something that most people don't know about.
Yeah.
And, for traditional vending, there's not very much server costs. There's not very much AI processing costs. There's not very much financial risk costs, right? So because, it's traditional vending, there's no potential to capture transactions. Something about our industry that I guess not many people talk about is this idea of transaction capture rate. Everyone's talking about recognition rate. That's table stakes. You should have very high recognition. I think all of us have one. So recognition rate is important, but then also payment capture rate. It's very important.
Sure.
And payment capture is really, how many of the transactions are you able to fully set up? Because you're always doing an incremental off of the end. And the reason for that is because we want to capture more money than a traditional vending machine. I think the premise behind smart stores to begin with is that they can make more money than traditional vending. If that premise is not true, then I don't think people should switch to a smart store. I think they should continue buying vending machines. So the premise for switching is because you can make more money. That has to be true. If that's not true, then there's really no reason to move.
Is there any day, you obviously need a lot of examples of how much more the sales would be over vending if it was replaced by AI coolers in the same location? Does anybody know?
I know your average. What's your average? If you want to,
Sure.
you could share
Well-
like per vending machine. What do you typically bring in? Well,
On average, our service numbers per vending machine is about $218
Okay.
per visit per machine. Is that the question you're asking?
I think he has actually put a question like
per month.
or like your machine revenue wise.
I'll tell you in a moment.
I did this for two operators side by side. I just don't really know about the traditional vending machines today. It's about nice, a combo machine. And we put a standard cooler right next to it, selling the exactly the same stuff on the exactly same price. 2 weeks later, we collect the data, and the smart cooler is making 37% more than traditional. ones. Yeah, it's not a lot, but just because they're selling the same items, but people are buying more from the cooler because it looks better and it's more easy.
So you can close.
In the factory, in the manufacturer place, they have like 350 people, employees, 5 days a week. So that's that, and they just do 3 items at a time, majority of the time. I don't really have that percentage how many times are in the Mongol day, but it's just 37% more, selling exactly the same thing. I think bottom line to my answer, like you have to make more money to persuade a customer to change that. Nobody's really buying names.
I think because you're doing more money in that particular location, you could afford a little bit higher fees.
Yes, because I always think like this: you are making $300 more per month, but you're paying $30 more, but you're making $300 more. So you're do the math, you start making $270 more. So consider that $40 per month as an investment. That's where ROI is like 10 times.
I want to get to you for a moment, but I wanted to answer your question. $92 per week per machine.
That's a pretty good number. Like,
I know we're a high number because we really focus on profitability. We don't take every account. We really focus on the accounts we want. We don't try to get many accounts. I know we're very sure with that. I think the national average is probably $70.
something like that. So like,
Yeah.
or like around like under $100.
Yeah.
take a guess at what the average might be.
From Mart, the
Yeah.
ones you use the service.
Yeah.
Tell me. I mean, it's a higher ticket items.
No, just not the ones that I service, but the current Micromart ecosystem.
Oh, good question. How many machines do you have?
Sure, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
We currently have like 1,500.
And the average?
Yeah, average. So you take all machines and all sales and apply them
But average per week visit
per month. Usually do it.
per month.
We usually do it per month.
$1,500 per month.
So you're higher.
But he was talking about he had like 1,500 machines operating.
We have currently 1,500 machines active.
And how much are they grossly revenue?
Yeah, top line. You said yours was
$192 per week per machine is our gross revenue.
take a guess when the Micromart is.
100.
You tell me. I mean, listen, like I said, you have higher ticket items. We average,
You don't have high ticket items. That's what I'm saying. Is
tell us.
Micromart. So again, Micromart operators currently sell convenience products, not fresh food. Fresh food is my own business.
Oh, okay.
I don't tell people.
They're selling the others. They're selling. That's what I got you.
So average sale for Micromart machines is $1,200 a month per machine. Yeah. And some people are doing way more than that. Like that's an average across the board, right? Whether it's a small.
What do you think? What do you think about those numbers?
It's not mine.
Is it?
Do you want to know our highest selling cooler per month? I think in January it was 5.4K. Just one cooler.
How much is it?
5.4K.
5.4 thousand.
1,000K. Yeah.
Our highest is $1.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
It's crazy. It was the business.
And they're not even selling crazy stuff. They're selling the highest ticket they have, like it's the small floors. I can do my boss.
This is why, I wanted to focus the fee conversation back on this point is if it's all about, saving money, that's not why you're doing this. Well, we're doing this because you can make more money. You can make a lot more money. So that's the real reason.
Because of the customer interaction being more appealing,
Yes.
selling items, any item you want at any price point.
I think you're missing. I think we're all missing a huge point.
Yep.
We got to talk about is let's see it from the eyes of the end customer. Our highest revenue generating locations are typically warehouses and blue collar areas. In that area, if you work there, you have 2 15-minute breaks and 1 lunch. And you might have 300 other columns open. if you guys are all, even 20 people on a big team in a group, put a traditional vending machine, someone's not going to be able, right? If you want 2 items, multiple people aren't going to get it. You have one of ours, takes like 30 seconds
That's a great point.
to close,
That's a great point.
right? So this is why we're seeing so much more revenue, Oops.
It's a great point. It's really a great point, especially in busy locations, because obviously the transactional speed would be a lot quicker. And that's a major point for vending guys. We understand that in a large location with a lot of people in a short period of time, we need to capture everybody. That's a main focus for all big operators. And I think that's something I haven't really talked about with my staff. And you're definitely bringing it to light. The larger operators should really understand that. And in the larger locations, obviously you can have more than one cooler. You have a bank of coolers. You'll be able to capture every customer and not have anyone walk away. And that happens all the time. I've seen it 100 times in front of my eyes. Look at this. Too many people online, even though we have 4 machines here. And that's a very big problem with micro markets. These are one kiosk. It's even worse. So, we strategized on large micro market location where we put multiple kiosks. And again, that's very expensive. There's a lot of fees also. Might as well put the AI coolers and really make sure everyone pays.
Yes.
Right. And that's how I'm going to go over that with my staff now. I appreciate you bring that to my attention.
It's like a pretty interesting, actually, like you were just asking the question about how come, large operators has adopted. So to this point, a lot of change. There's fear, there's
Sure.
change management and so on. But I also think that the businesses are kind of different. The types of locations that smart coolers are designed for is also kind of different than the portfolio that large operators traditionally had. Like the largest ones, like Canteen, for example, their focus is on the large manufacturing plants and large white collar offices, just big enterprise accounts, offices, it's mostly workplaces. Where Micromar has seen a tremendous amount of growth is in residential buildings, in sort of semi-public spaces that you wouldn't put in Micromar because you get a completely wrong.
Residential buildings.
Residential buildings. So 70% of Micromar machines are in residential buildings today, right? Like you're like, what? So this is another reason why large operators handling fine is large operators build a business servicing the clients, right? Like you're in there, you're providing a service to an office. This is kind of different.
So we've tried those apartment buildings. Something we have.
It's actually opened another door. It's back on top of that is that we see. I know Metro is the lot of business release, and I do have a customer that they want to put a traditional vending machine in there. It's a high end beauty, and they're like that vending machine looks spec, and they want a better. They want a better presentation. The other cooler wasn't there.
Makes sense.
Then they started to open another door. I haven't really done with a number, but even top of my head, I hope guys probably give them the 15 to 20% opportunity to open that more opportunities to do more business. Just like you said, like you guys are doing hospitals, school systems, factories. Those are just really B2B. The smart cooler, better way, better looking. It's opened up another door for operators to get more locations, high-end locations.
In my eyes, this industry is not the same as it was even 3 years.
Yeah.
The market wasn't growing and it was not cheap. But now what we're seeing is new location, hardwares and our vending machines. It's not like I'm competing directly with you. We're trying to grow the market share together. So I believe we all share the same sense.
Yeah.
I think you're also helping an industry that's being taken over by just a few large companies in America. And just like the 365 and Canteen merger, the possibility of that happening, Cantaloupe City, I think that always allows for an opening. I mean, it's America. If there's an opening, it's going to be filled. So I think the AI coolers are doing that, especially for new operators, because there's many parts of this country, there's no one else but to use Canteen in many cities. So allowing smaller operators to maybe grow and to be a little bit of a competitor to these larger companies where they bought up a lot of the mom and pop guys like myself. I think this is just going to rejuvenate a whole business of competition again.
Yeah, I have. It was how I looked almost 2 years. I was taking customer from one machine. Right now, she had 46. It's just the advantage of the garage and global guys and like their strategy. We talk about it. Their strategy is following Gentile's Trump. Whatever Gentile's Trump is, their where she will lead at that time. 50% of chance they're going to get the count just because it's better looking machine. It's more. It's more like they really treat the location as their part of their core values. Like
Those small companies that can really pay attention. The last 9 accounts we've gotten in my company were all from Canteen. 9 in a row. So,
they're really
a large company. I mean, listen, Canteen. I mean, that's it. So I wanted to talk about distribution. I wanted to talk about, in the past, vending machines, if I needed a vending machine, I would call a distributor that was the authorized distributor in my geographic area. They would not just offer the machine and bring it over to me, to our warehouse, but they would also repair it, warranty it, parts. This is a new segment, so the machines are still kind of new and they're working, but I have 2 technicians that work for me full time because of my 12-year-old Bedmasters. What's the future of the distributor parts, or is everyone just going to buy direct from us? Is that the plan for distribution? Because again, large operators, they have their distributors. There's so many AI coolers out there. Most operators have never heard of anywhere because there's no distributor, a point person knocking on their door, making meetings with them. What do you think of that? Not everything is online. He's not the typical type of distributor either. Right. So I'm just wondering, is it always going to be through the company themselves? Buy one now online, done, and all of a sudden it shows up. So what do you think?
I can explain why it's currently like this, right?
Whatever the plan will be.
Imagine we just started. We don't have a single clue out there on the market. There is no way in hell that I can convince ABS or any of these very large distribution companies to put my product in their show. Right? Things are changing now, right? And this is also not what we wanted to only sell online. In the best world, if distributors are in each major region, so let's say New York, Northeast, Toronto, Florida, and things like that, it helps us scale within logistics, sales. It builds a relationship between you and the public. And it means to answer your question right here, why it isn't like this right now, is that we were never large enough to have an independent conversation. Going back to the total addressable market, 2025, 10,000 AI was sold. How many vending machines? It's thousands, right? To us, there's still less than 1%. So why would they?
I don't know if those numbers are right. I'm not sure if that many vending machines are selling.
probably like used machines.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. Really? Yeah. New? No, don't think so.
It's brand new traditional vending machines are expensive.
And it was after COVID, so there was a big shift from markets to removing the equipment from locations.
You're absolutely right. I don't think any of us would want it. Let's say we had no distributor. I don't think any of us would only want to sell on our website, Amazon, any marketplace. That's not our goal. It actually occurs us a lot. So our goal is very aligned with you guys.
Sure. Because, in our industry as an operator, I have a meeting after this in about an hour and a half. And if I close the meeting, I need machines. The distributors help us with those type of logistics of obtaining it and getting it as fast as possible. The deal's never done until the equipment arrives and the first person buys something. That'll be important to operators. What do you guys think?
We're very relying on this just because we're way too small. Like nobody knows about me. I cold call the people. They don't even know what it is. They shut it down.
Sure.
Hard no. And now I'm seeing transition from hard no to people. I have to turn them away. A few distributors and also they want to be distributor and none of them are traditional distributor like ASOP, like USI, AVS, none of that. It's just like people that want to be involved. So my goal, where I think all our goal is to have the traditional distributors to take all of the AI coolers moving forward to help us to grow.
So you're thinking the existing distributors are not on board yet? They're not really getting calls. They're not ready to embrace.
I'm pretty sure they are.
It's got to be coming around sooner or later.
Yeah, that's why I have the conversation.
The best in the world, or
that's why I have a conversation consistently with like USI, with ADS, with the VD solution. They all want to be part of it. Just like you said, they haven't really dived in all day because they all have
The whole industry is
Yeah.
moves slow, it seems like.
Yeah. And I
And we should be moving a little bit quicker.
we are like, there's like 4 million. I ask ChatGPT all the time. 3-4 million vending machines in the United
I
States.
think more.
It's more.
6 or 7.
Pretty much. I'll take that 6. Let's
Yeah.
just make maybe half, like 5
Yeah.
million. There is probably only not even like 100, like it's not even 10,000 machines sold last year. AI core, so that's like less than 1%. Like,
Yeah, but that's
my
good
my
news, guys.
yeah, it's something.
This is
I think everybody will get it. I think my perspective on this is, I think down the road, 3-5 years, well, like 5 years later, we look back, we just stay as smart cooler. Oh, just smart cooler in general will take out like 40-50% off the entire buy. And the brand, when the rest of 50% will be memory markers, will be traditional vending machines. But I think we definitely have a issue. That's why we're doing this. If there's like enough workers, I can jump in on it.
sure. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting question because the business models have changed so much. Even if you look at it like the business model of manufacturing, for example, you know, these guys are manufacturing overseas. We've actually decided to manufacture locally, and there are pros and cons,
Sure.
to that. But also from a, I guess, from a vertical integration standpoint, we wanted to build the best machine and make the most money for our operators, but then also to make the experience like seamless right from day one. And that's really hard to do if we also have like layers of distributors. So when we first started, we actually decided like consciously not to have distributors in our model, just go direct. Some markets went down with us, right? Because they're mostly controlling vertically integrated distribution. They have very few, Apple certified retailers and resellers. So for us, that was a strategy. Like consciously, we wanted the experience to be seamless, consistent every time. So currently, you can only buy life bars from us directly. But from an operator standpoint, I think there has definitely been challenges with that approach because, you're not working with the same guy that you're used to. It's hard to get a machine when, there's no inventory near you. So we recognize that. And that's been something that we are working to kind of solve. But the goal for us has always been about how do we keep the experience to the customer that they want, like from beginning to end? And how do we create that? And then also meet all the operators' needs, right?
Listen, I'm excited about it. Ever since I met you a few years ago in NAMA,
And we had no machines of that.
yeah, I literally
Just,
I love the idea. The skeptical part that I had from the beginning is like, does this really work? It works, and that was obviously the major hurdle. For people that are watching this, don't be skeptical. It works. You set it up properly in the back end, and it works. But I wanted to ask about. I know the 3 companies here are relying just on AI, and there's some coolers out there that we see with weights. What have you guys seen the difference between? Is one better than the other, or are there any coolers that have both? Like I'm not really familiar with it. I've seen the weight part. I think that was really. Is that what the first ones that really started out was with the weight? Tell me what you know about that. Have you even thought about incorporating into your companies if it's needed? Is better, or is AI cameras better than the weights?
I wouldn't say it's better than the weights, but it's much more convenient as a weight technology, for sure.
More convenience.
More convenience
Okay.
technology. Because for us, I'm pretty sure that for setting up our floors within, if you're setting up right for haha, you just plug in the bill and you decide your stuff within 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's very fast with those guys too. I know if you have a weight technology, because you gotta take at least I like personally set up a kind of smart store with some customer. I oversee how it goes. Takes you on maybe 2.5 hours to try to get it started because you have to wait all the things, put on the right shelf. And I think the concept of smart core is making the core smarter, right? Because you open the door more than often you see people taking this out, look at the label, put it back, look at calories, especially for household people, and they put it back. Right. Our cooler, you can put it back whenever you want. But for those weighted technology, you have to put it back exactly where it was. And sometimes they're not very nice. So these cost a lot of, not really from the consumer side of it, but it's a headache for for the operators. I think that's downside for the weight technology. But I just see another thing on top of that is if you put a weight technology on top of it, the cost is going to be a lot higher. So the machine is going to cost them higher. So nobody just want to pay something probably not really useful.